Welcome back, y'all. It's Cindy. This is another video for my series Blind Mom Hacks. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I hope you find this video helpful, as well as all the other blind mom hacks I have done and just different videos, tips, tricks, recommendations on my channel. So I hope you consider subscribing. Today I'm going to share all kinds of ideas and creative ways you can use bump dots. This product is pretty familiar to us in the blind and visually impaired community, but there's actually a lot of cool ways you could use these tactile adhesives. So I'm going to talk about that today. First, I want to give a huge shout out to Janet Beagle. She is an awesome subscriber that actually made this video request, I think a week or so ago. And yeah, she needed to know some more creative uses for bump dots. So hopefully Janet and everyone else, you find this video helpful and useful. I also want to give props to Carrie on the channel Live Accessible. I think she uploaded a video on bump dots as well a while back. And when I was watching, I was thinking, oh my gosh, she's got several ideas that are just like mine. Like, I guess great minds think alike, right? So, but be sure to check her video out as well, because she lists several other additional ways that you can use bump dots. So I will put her channel and the video in the description box below, so be sure to check that out. Let's get started with today's hacks. Hacks number 1 and 2 have to do with hanging pictures on the wall. And for some of my sighted subscribers, if you're wondering, do we hang pictures on the wall if we can't see them? And for me personally, the answer is yes. I still enjoy having pictures on the wall even though I can't see them. They're just great conversation starters. They mark, important moments in my life and my family's life. Plus, it's super adorable when my kids come and they point out things and people and friends in the pictures, call them by name, especially since, we can't see each other very often. So those are the reasons why I try to hang pictures on the wall, even though they just look like, blobs or squares. So I have a picture frame here ready, and I've actually already hung it on the wall behind me. There's a nail, I can feel it right here behind me, but we're just gonna pretend like I'm starting from the beginning. The way you can use bump dots in this situation, what I do is I have a bump dot on the back of my hand ready to go. So I will hold the bump dot in one hand and the frame in the other, which I usually like to have the bump dot in my left, the frame in my right, because I'm right-handed. And I will put the frame kind of where I want it to go on the wall, and then I'll feel on the back of the frame kind of where the wall hanging hook or nail goes, and then the corresponding place on the wall. And then I'll try to put that bump dot right there, just kind of to the left a little bit, and I'll make sure that bump dot is secure. Then I can put my frame down and I can pick up whatever hanging materials I'm using. Yes, we do use hammers when necessary. The short miniature ones are the best. They give us a bit more control. But I've already kind of done all that work, but you can see I actually have a bump dot here on the wall next to my nail. So if I'm starting from scratch, I can just feel now where that bump dot is and know exactly where to place my hook or nail. Sighted people, of course, they just use a pencil or some way to mark the wall. But for us, of course, that doesn't work. So I use a bump dot. Now, hack number 2. I will take that bump dot that I've put on the wall, and once I've got my wall hanging thing in there, once I've placed my picture up here, sometimes the picture frames will kind of swing back and forth. They're kind of just laying loosely up against the wall. And they can easily be knocked aside or off center if someone brushes up against them or if the kids are throwing stuff around. So I can't always tell when they are knocked off center or anything like that, and it bugs me when you can just brush them ever so slightly, and next thing you know, they look crooked or something. So I take that bump dot as well as any additional ones I need, and I will actually put them on the bottom back of the frame where it touches the wall, and I just need to go grab one more for the other side. But I will pick the camera up so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. So I have one bump dot over here, but I have them already up on this video up here. Hopefully you guys can see that, but it just, I don't know if you can hear it, kind of squeaks a little bit, but it just gives a little extra resistance so that they're not as easily brushed aside against the wall, and it gives just a little bit more friction there to help my pictures stay in place all the time on my wall, and I'm not constantly concerned, okay, are my pictures crooked? Do they look silly, or are they actually in place where they need to be? So hopefully those two hacks will help you in decorating your house. Moving on, we're in my kitchen now. I just wanted to show you, in case you have not seen my Blind Mom hacks for the kitchen yet, these are my bump dots behind me on my microwave, you can see. And if you want more information on how these are typically used, you can see that in that video. I'll link it in the description box. I'm actually going to take you over to my laundry room and show you how I've used them on my laundry room appliances, because I think those can be a bit extra tricky. They have a turn knob on them that is not tactile. So a lot of different things like that. I've seen copy machines, things like that, that are the same type of design. So let's head over to my probably extremely messy laundry room and I'll show you how I've used these bump dots so that I can operate my washer and dryer. All right guys, welcome to my laundry room again. Here is my washing machine, and you can see it has this turn dial, and it actually lights up, and when it's really dark in here I can see the light, but I can't see the wording ever. So I have a bump dot on the dial. You can, I'm kind of touching it right now. It's at the top, and when I know it's at the very top, that is normal with this washing machine. And then I know on the left, I can feel for a bump dot down here on the left, and all I do is I will turn my knob until the bump dots are lined up. So I have, a hand on a finger on the bump dot on my turn dial as well as on the label, and that way I can tell when they are lined up and it's on the correct setting. Now when I go to the reverse side, I can feel and line up with another setting I use, which is quick wash, and I know it's on the right setting when those bumps line up. I can feel when I've hit it. Oh, I have a bump dot over here on the side. Let me see if I can turn the camera a little bit. So it's funny, the power on and start buttons are kind of tactile. I can feel the squares. I know, power's at the top, starts on the bottom, but I use the clean cycle, and that's like a separate little button. So I just hit the bump dot and I know that this means it's my clean cycle. So if there's anything else that I'm wanting to do, I have to get out I use my app Seeing AI, or I'll do the Be My Eyes app, or just call my hubby and get him to help me. But these are typically the only settings I use on my washing machine. And so let's move over to my dryer and I'll show you how I also do it there. Here is my dryer interface, guys, and once again we have another turn dial. This one is a little different though, guys, because the turn dial here, which I'm touching, I can feel there is a vertical line going up and down, like from the center of the dial up, pointing to, I guess, where the settings are on the base of the dryer. And so I don't have to use a bump dot on the turn dial because I can feel this vertical line. When it is completely vertical with the floor, I know that's my normal setting. But I can feel on the edges here, which are my, once again, I only have, you know, a couple of settings that I use regularly. And a lot of people are like, oh, why don't you just, you know, you can kind of feel the turn dial click. I don't know if you can hear it. But when you have so many of these types of devices and things, and especially when you're a mom and you're sleep deprived and you're like, just your brain is not working, it gets confusing trying to keep track of, okay, how many clicks to the left and how many clicks to the right, especially when other people are using the appliances and you don't know already, you know, okay, where things are set and oriented. So anyway, and so mine also beeps when I know I'm on normal, which is another helpful thing. But I will click and line that vertical line up again with a bump dot that I've put on the base, and I know I am on that setting correctly. So that is how, guys, I use bump dots to help me with these type of turn dials that I know a lot of other equipment randomly in work environments, copy machines, things like that use this type of design. So hopefully this will help you in those situations. Hack number 4. Okay, here is an image of my extremely dirty shoe rack, or at least this is what we use as soon as we come through the front door. It's kind of like a metal, pretty decorative metal shelf. It's just what I use though. However, it makes marks on the back of the wall whenever it hits up against it. So bump dots to the rescue. So let me see if I can turn it around. I actually don't know if you can see, but I have bump dots kind of placed around the perimeter of this, and I don't want to touch them too much because it'll kind of, like, here's one right here, up here, but it prevents the metal from hitting up against and scratching and marking up the wall, which my husband is like, please don't do that because I have to, you know, fix it and paint it. So bump dots are great to put behind shelves and furniture and things like this that can get bumped. It hits up against the back of the wall and can ding it, mark it up, making it very difficult to fix. Welcome to my kids' bathroom. So sorry for the giant toilet shot here, but I want to show you hack number 5. So we do not have the like plastic, soft, slow closing toilet lids. These are, you know, a much sturdier, kind of heavy duty ones, but they're really loud when they are closed. You know, if you just kind of drop it, it makes a really loud, crazy sound that kind of irks me sometimes, especially when we have sleeping babies. So I, you know, fill on the ridges here on the bottom. There's these 2 ridges on the left and right, and I put bump dots here. And this actually did muffle the sound quite a bit. I mean, it's still loud, you know, if someone just drops them down, but these do help muffle the sound a bit if you have this style of toilet lid. And so with that down, I also have them on the top cover as well. So, you know, when I pull that down, it just sounds a lot more muffled than like that wham, you know, loud, crazy sound that I used to hear. So guys, hopefully this one is one that you can use if this is a style of toilet lid that you have in your home. Moving on, guys. Okay, hacks, I think we're on number 6 and 7. These both have to do with doors. So I tried to remove some of these just so that I can demonstrate what I'm talking about. Let me bend down just a bit, sorry. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. And oh, I just realized my daughter has stickers and tape all over her door. When our doors close, you can kind of hear how it wobbles back and forth, like inside when the door is latched to. So when my kids, you know, are playing with the doors, they're trying to learn how to open them. And sometimes when our garage door opens, it creates like a vacuum and the doors will kind of rattle back and forth, and that, especially when I have sleeping kids, bugs the heck out of me. So I will actually, let me see if I can open it and show you. So inside here, this is where the door latches to the frame. The frame on the insides, I will put a bump dot on the left and right side. creating a more snug, muffled effect once again, so that when the door moves back and forth within this socket, it doesn't have, you know, much wiggle room, but it's also muffled more when I do this, and I'll show you that in just a second. But real quick, I also want to show you my next hack. I've also put bump dots. I'm just going to follow the frame where the door closes up against the frame. I'm going to follow this lip all the way up, and there should be a bump dot. Yeah, right here. I've put bump dots up here at the top, and then I'm going to follow it all the way down. Oops, sorry, I have to kind of angle, crazy angle, sorry. But hopefully, guys, you can kind of see way down here, if I can find it. Oh, yep, here, right here. There's another bump dot down at the bottom, and I put them at the top and at the very bottom because they're less likely to see them and pick them off. But when the door slams, it slams and hits these bump dots, again muffling that door and making it a lot quieter when the doors close. So that is hack number 7. All right, guys, we've made it to the end almost. This is my last hack. Thank you so much for watching so far. If you've learned anything, don't forget, give it a big thumbs up. Any of my videos, if you like or learn anything, I hope you support by giving a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed yet, do so, please. All right, this last one, this is my makeup compact, or one of them. And for me, sometimes these type of designs and gadgets and gizmos, there's all kinds of different types. I get confused tactilely trying to discern what is the open end and what is the hinge end. Sometimes they can be a bit deceiving. So when I'm early in the morning or when I'm just in a rush, you know, it can be frustrating trying to, you know, pry it open from the hinge end. It just doesn't work. So I will feel here is my bump dot, and this tells me, okay, this is the top of my compact and it opens right here. So I will feel that bump dot and I will try to open it, and there we go. If you are a woman who loves her makeup like me, you know, this will help you as well. There's a lot of other gadgets and gizmos around the house that are a compact design, so you can use this bump dot method for that as well. Thank you all so much for your support and making it this long through the video. It always helps these videos out when you make it to the end, so I really appreciate you. Thank you all so very much for your support. Thank you for watching. Take care.